gonna get going here because we're on a time clock. This first round of tests that need to be done for the pin kill needs to occur at 6 hours. So I need to get going because at 6 p.m. here, it's gonna be getting dark and the bees get a little feisty around that hour. I'm only gonna do one mite wash on each colony. Plane going by. As I was saying, if you've watched any of my previous videos, I would wash the same sample twice to get a verification and make sure that the soap solution was removing all of the mites in the first rinse. And I'd say without fail, 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, the first wash was sufficient to get all the mites off. Some samples did reveal a couple of more, and I think that had more to do with how long I spent waiting for the solution to settle the mites in the bottom of the cup. So I would say it's at least reliable enough to get an initial first count that you can trust. Now I left these boxes on this colony because they were still curing some of it. Now I'm going to rile them up with the bee brush. It's always fun. Yeah, you can see they're still curing some of this. That's okay. Frames look really good. Now taking this honey should not leave these bees without food. Because they got a whole super on the top of the brood nest that's full capped food as well. So I took off that super. All the honey is in those pronukes, and definitely tons of bees. It looks like I've got brood here on this frame, and I've got capped honey. Sorry, brood here on this frame, capped honey at the tops of these frames just by peering down in there. I'm not going to pull this out because the samples I want to pull from the heart of the brood nest would likely be here as well as here. So not likely here, but most likely here. So I'm going to go down into that and pull out my samples. The thing that stinks about this stand is that this hive wants to slide off the front. Slick. Alright, so this has got open brood on it. I'm going to double check for the queen, and if I don't see her, I will shake this off for a sample. And then whatever bees are not too young, they'll fly off, come back to the colony, and that'll leave with young nurse bees for the wash. So this is a good frame that you would consider for doing an assay. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to check the age of the pupa to see if they're purple-eyed or pink-eyed. I just uncapped one with my hive tool to see the age, and you can see right here that one I uncapped is not old enough for evaluation. The other side is close, but not good enough. That one was another frame of open brood, so I shook that too. And I see a frame here that's going to probably meet the criteria for the pin test. So I will check that one as well. I'm going to pull this out so that the alcohol can evaporate off the tool. This is definitely not a non-invasive test. So you can see emerging brood right there where my thumb is. This is going to be a frame that will have the right age larva and pupa on it. You can see this one's got dark eyes. And then this side as well is going to probably be appropriate too, because they're close to emerging. I don't know if you can see that one right there. Okay, so we'll take our marker. I'm going to mark the colony number on the frame, which is blue 003. That way we have record. Now, this is the part that worries everybody when it comes to mite washes. Is the queen. Is she in there? And you definitely hate to wash it. So when I shake it down like that, I look for any behavior that looks like a queen is in there, and they would gather around her. Sometimes they start fanning and running around in circles, but that's not always the case. It also gives bees that might be too old, the opportunity to fly off. I don't see the queen. Do you see the queen? All right. See if we can get that shot. About a half cup. A little more for good measure. And you can see they kind of shake themselves down in the sample when you use dish soap, and that will help the mites dislodge. Slight agitation, not a full agitation, because it is Dawn dish soap that will get sudsy. Now I'll leave that there for a second. I plan to come back, so I'm going to leave that space open to put the frame back. It really isn't that big of a deal whether you put it back or not in the same spot, but I try to. All right, I am going to now do the pin test.